G'day and welcome everyone to this week's Rossoneri Roundup. It's Luke and Shady here. How are you, Shady?
Hey Luke, how you going? Hi everyone.
I'm very well. It feels like we're in a never-ending cycle of similar podcasts, I guess, because another week's gone past and another week with no signings.
Yeah. New week, same no signings. That's a polite way to put it. But it looks like we're getting closer. Florenzi,
yeah, a bit of a I guess you could say one out of sort of nowhere. Florenzi. I mean, we know he's not a superstar, but in terms of wanting a player with experience that'll help with depth, comes off the back of winning the Euros, so adds that side to it into our team as well. I actually don't mind it as a move from the club.
Yeah, agreed. I don't see any downside to it, to be honest. Again, I agree with you 100%. It's like out of the blue, it's like, oh. But that being said, like you said, I'm not. Like you said as well last week when you were arguing, when I was like, do we really need a deputy right back? But you make a good point, I guess. And he's one that could, if we're really short, you could throw him on the right wing. You could, I mean, yeah, potentially. He's played all over the place as well. So that stint at PSG, the experience with Italy in the Euros, yeah, no downside to it, definitely. Very good squad player.
Yeah, for sure. How do you think this affects Calabria? Do you think we still play him pretty much every match, or what do you think?
I would. Yeah, I would. I mean, I'd pretty much have Calabria as my main go-to man, and yeah, we'll see how we go throughout the season with injuries, suspensions. I can imagine that. I mean, Calabria unfortunately does pick up an injury or two during the course of the season, so I'd imagine it would be Kalulu and Florenzi. Probably Kalulu get a run in the Coppa Italia and maybe some of the mid-table to smaller teams, and yeah, Florenzi maybe will get a run in the bigger games if Calabria's out injured. But yeah, Calabria would still be my number one.
Yep, and I think one thing that it confirms as well is that Conti is out of the club most likely.
Oh yeah, I mean, if it wasn't obvious before,
yeah,
and yeah, it is now.
Another thing, actually, has it been confirmed that Hager's gone?
Yeah, he's signed with Frankfurt. He's confirmed, Frankfurt. And all over Frankfurt's accounts. Yeah, all the best to him. Unfortunately, it didn't work out for him with us. It's unfortunate. I think both of us were kind of like of the opinion that he could have done a job for us, but yeah, it's one of those things. We wish him all the best.
Yep.
And yeah, let's move on.
The train keeps moving. And we pick up a nice little profit from him, and I think there's a little clause inserted into his contract that gives us a bit of the profit off his next sale. So
yeah, that's true.
Still a little win if he does turn out to be a really good player. But yeah, good luck to him. Ilicic left out of the Atalanta squad for their game. What do you read into anything or
I think we were really getting very close in the past couple of days, but my understanding is in the past 24 to 48 hours, things have cooled off a bit. Now, whether or not that's just the calm before the storm, or the quiet before the storm, and we're going to actually sign him in the next week or so, that's one thing. Another theory that's been doing the rounds on Milan Twitter is that Maldini's got another trick up his sleeve, and that Ilicic has just been kept as like a last-minute option if these plans don't go through. I'm not sure who Maldini's thinking about, other than the names we've already discussed. I heard during the week as well that the interest in Isco has cooled down, because I remember you asked me about that last week. My understanding is it has cooled down a bit. So I wonder who. I mean, all different names have been going up now, like Dani Ceballos. Even after the Real Madrid game, there was talk about that. I don't know, but I think we're looking at another profile, I think, right now.
Yeah. I think I read somewhere that Ancelotti has been thinking about keeping him, Isco, that is, obviously, because of I think he's had a few good games in practice matches, which I guess is kind of the danger that you run if you wait for those last minute deals that they can turn on and start playing well. There's not much. There's still, as you said, Isco, Vlasic, Rodriguez, Ziyech. Also the player out of Bordeaux, Yassine Adli.
Adli, yeah.
Who's 21, played most games last season. So we're still waiting, unfortunately, to see which one we get. Yeah, there's not much really to say about that. I feel like we've spoken about it a lot, so we can move on, I guess.
Yeah. I wonder if Ziyech, because of Chelsea, pretty much sealed their Lukaku deal. So I wonder if they'll need some funds. To recoup from their funds they spend on Lukaku. They pretty much sold Tammy Abraham to Roma, so that's a little bit of money. But I wonder if they'll be interested in a loan with obligation to buy for Ziyech. Maybe which would be good for us. Or I don't know, maybe a wild card from PSG or something. Now that they've gotten Messi, they'll want to offload one of their huge contingent of attacking midfielders.
Yeah. Well, we'll see. We'll see how, I guess, the dominoes fall. Why do you think? It seems like everything that I'm reading that Milan has a deal with the player, but then it's just we're being told, oh, we just need to sort out the last few little things with the club, and then it'll be done. And then it just seems to fizzle out, and then the player goes somewhere else, or nothing happens. Why do you think that keeps happening?
Well, can you be more specific? Who are you talking about here?
As in, so we saw with the Brazilian young player, I think Isco's the same. I think Ziyech's the same. We keep hearing the Vlasic the same, that the player's willing to come, but the club can't get it done.
I wonder how much of it is true to begin with. I wonder how much of it is actually just like, first of all, I wonder how many of these rumors are actually just baseless rumors being made up by whatever Calcio Mercato or any like newspaper just wanting to, clickbait and to increase sales. That's one thing. The other thing is, I wonder if Maldini and co and maybe a lot of like sporting managers do this trick. Is they leak certain rumors to throw people off the scent or off the track. So I wonder if any of that is part of it too. And I guess the most obvious reason would be that the club's finances are in dire straits. That would be probably the most obvious reason out of the three I've just mentioned.
Yeah.
But I would probably suspect it's a combination of the three.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Speaking of finances,
what do you think? That's my 2 cents. What do you think?
Yeah, I think probably a bit of a mix. I think a lot of it would come down to monetary problems, that probably just being outbidded by other teams. I think the allure of coming to Milan is still there, especially where we're heading as a club. I think players do want to come generally. It's just about whether we can get that deal done. So we've seen Maldini has been trying to push those loan deals with the options to buy, and clubs sometimes don't love those. It's it feels like it's getting harder and harder to sign players, but
it does. When you're competing with, just look at the TV rights between us and England. It's an uphill struggle, right? So makes sense when you've got teams that are relegated in England with getting more money from the TV rights than the top team in Italy. Then it's understandable.
Yeah. What do you make of the new shirt sponsorship, the sleeve?
The sleeve one.
We haven't seen it before.
Yeah,
have we?
I don't think so. No, I don't think we've seen it in with Milan. No, it's definitely Milan's first shirt sleeve sponsor, because I think even the club said something. They posted something like that. So it's definitely our first for Milan. Yeah, it almost feels like in handball or in the French league or Austrian, like one of the European, like Eastern European or Central European leagues, where they have sponsors all over and then on the shorts as well.
Yeah.
Or a different sport like handball, for example, which they do that a lot in. Yeah, it feels a bit surreal, I guess, but I guess because next season our old badge is just going to be on the right. So the Champions League one is just going to be one on the right, and that's it. So it frees up the left sleeve.
Oh, possibly. I haven't seen.
Yeah, I think so.
Okay.
Yeah. I don't know, but it's just weird. It feels weird.
Yeah.
It feels weird.
I saw I have seen what it looks like, and it's not overly too noticeable. And I think that the current, like the sponsor that we've got actually kind of goes with the kit. So
Okay.
I don't mind too much. Speaking of merch, actually, the scarf you're rocking.
Oh yeah. Yeah, so I got this with I think shout out, I'm sorry if I'm forgetting the name right now, but somebody mentioned this on our Milan Club Melbourne WhatsApp chat the other day. And this was pure coincidence right now that I just rocked the scarf on. I was just reaching for our club scarf and I was running a bit late, so this scarf was at the top. So yeah, it's from father to son. I got this when I was with my dad at Milan Juve 3 seasons ago. And I just loved the idea. I went there. It was my first time at San Siro with my dad, and we just saw this scarf, and yeah, obviously for obvious reasons I fell in love with it, and it's got very special memories for me personally as well, being with my dad. Yeah, so yeah, really, yeah, it's one of my got a lot of Milan merch. I love all of it, but this one's got a special this has got a special place in my heart.
That is awesome. I can definitely testify. Seeing your in the what was it called, the Kits Out Challenge, Shirts Out Challenge?
Oh yeah, when we did that, yeah.
When we did that, your array, and I think you said as well that it wasn't all of your stuff either.
Not all of it. No, yeah. I've got quite a few back. I had quite a few back home in Egypt as well that didn't bring along. So yeah, I've got a few more.
I feel like when you're traveling, Shady, that you would need like an extra suitcase just for Milan stuff.
I've got the Milan, yeah, exactly. I just get So you check in one regular bag, and then you've got the Milan bag as well.
yeah. Well, hopefully one day I can get there, but we need something to aim to.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, that's about it. Messi. Do we want to talk about that?
It's sad. Look, I don't like Barcelona. Never liked Barcelona. I don't like PSG. I like Messi a lot, and I was hoping, obviously, that we'd have that Paolo would give him a call, and then he wouldn't be able to say no to the 7 times Champions League winners. It would have been the dream, and it would have solved our Trequartista problems, wouldn't it?
Yeah.
And shirt sales would have, and the shirt sales as well would have solved all our monetary problems. So it would have been. I don't know if you saw this earlier or not, but today, but the PSG club store in Paris on the Champs-Élysées, the queue was like, as far and as long as the eye could see. People queuing up to get a Messi shirt. So yeah, that would have solved a lot of our problems, wouldn't it? Look, it's sad where in this day and age where a player, because of like mismanagement really on the club's part, that a player can't get to stay at the club he's been at for I don't know how many years, and the club he loves. Yeah, I mean, despite offering to take a 50% pay cut, and even people argued, some people were like, oh, why didn't you just play for free? You could afford it. Even if you were to play for free, I think because of the regulations, even if he wasn't on any salary, they wouldn't have been able to register him. So it's not a matter of playing for free or not. And no, he shouldn't have to play for free. He's a professional. They offer to take a 50% pay cut, which I mean is more than enough, really.
Yeah.
I mean, compared to any one of us, if we were asked to take a 50% pay cut, you know what I mean? Not a lot of people would do that. Gladly, I know he's a millionaire. It's a different story, but still, I'm just putting things into perspective.
Yeah.
Yeah. So it's sad. Just generally speaking, it's sad. What do you think?
I was really hoping that that he would, being a player that's coming to the end of his career, a pretty glamorous career as well, that he would have that kind of autonomy to pick where he wanted to go, and that it wouldn't be all about who could offer him that mega salary, that he could say like, I don't know, there was that kind of talk about him possibly going to Napoli to follow in Maradona's footsteps. Imagine him doing something like that, or going to, a club that, elevating them up to that level. And I was really hoping that would happen, but obviously not. We know
winning Milan their first Champions League title in 15 years. That would have been great.
Oh, I imagine.
Yeah.
Yeah. But obviously, that's not how it works. So
Yeah, it's unfortunate, it's sad, but I mean, yeah, it's sad, but it is what it is. I really look. I mean, I've always been a big. I probably haven't said this to a lot of my Milanisti friends or anything. In general, I've always been a big fan of him. I mean, I've always like keenly watched the Argentina games. I can't stand Barcelona, so I can't really. I mean, I'm not interested in watching him when he's playing for Barcelona, and despite the fact that he's a genius. But when he's playing for Argentina, I'm always like following him, and I'm really happy that he got to win the Copa America this year. I felt bad for him after the World Cup in 2014 because he did pretty much everything to get the team to the final.
Yep.
And then, yeah. Anyways, so it'll be interesting to see how he goes in the World Cup next year. But generally speaking, because I drifted a bit off topic here, generally speaking, it's sad. Let me ask you something before we go, Luke.
Yep.
What's the deal with because we've had a bit of a chat about this. A lot of people have also brought this one up, which is the TV rights. What's happening in Australia here? Because for those who may not know, to this moment, we haven't heard where we're going to be watching Serie A this season. It's crazy. No one's made an announcement. It's traditionally been on beIN Connect or beIN Sports, and nothing so far. We went through these shenanigans to an extent last year. And last minute they're like, it's on beIN again.
Yeah.
But this year we've heard nothing yet. What's your take?
Exactly. And it's really it's like we don't even exist, to be honest. It's like there's no Serie A fans in Australia. We saw that last year with that. Do you remember that just sudden?
And then just last minute, yeah.
Where we couldn't watch games. Yeah, I think it was 1 or 2 games. I remember literally sitting there ready to watch the game, and it just didn't come up.
And nothing on the app, exactly. You're just sitting there like an idiot and waiting.
And then slowly some things filtering out of Twitter, and it's really pathetic. And this is the reason why we aren't competing with the English clubs, because we're still 20 years behind what they are.
Yeah.
I don't know what is happening at beIN, but seriously, it's not on for a TV network. Is that what you call it? Broadcasting network. Sorry, broadcasting network, just to hold a league at ransom like this and change things so suddenly all the time.
They just have to respect us. Look, I mean, if it's not going to happen, let us know it's not happening.
Yeah.
And so we can explore different options. But the thing is, we're all in the dark, and who do we talk to? No one. No one knows what's going on. You know what I mean? There's no one to listen to us. There's no one that's telling us what's going on. So we're in the dark. I mean, it's a lack of respect. And like you're saying, it's the reason why the league hasn't been able to market itself, despite the fact that the league is rich with rivalries and passion that's much stronger than the Premier League, for example. You know what I mean? It's a very rich league. And it's a shame, because I think if Serie A were marketed better, it would definitely be, in terms of TV rights, it would be competing a lot better than it is right now, unfortunately. So it's a shame.
Yeah, it would have to.
State of the game in general, but yeah, it's just
Yeah,
it's crazy.
We'll see what happens, but yeah, it is crazy and it is pathetic, to be honest. But yeah, we're essentially just powerless on what happens, and hopefully something happens, but who knows if it will.
Yeah.
Anyway, we'll end it on that. A bit of a sour ending this week, but
hopefully we'll have better news to talk about. Maybe a new signing, maybe like some more exciting news. It'll be closer to our first game as well.
Yeah. So yeah. Very true. Yeah, and maybe, who knows, beIN will listen to this and they'll feel so bad about it that they'll start broadcasting our podcast weekly. So
yeah, exactly. They're like, bloody hell, we can't do this to Luke and Shady yet.
We'll see.
We've got to fix this.
Yeah. Anyway, that's all from us. Forza Milan, and see you next week, Shady.
See you next week, mate. Cheers. Forza Milan.